Today is going to be the last video for our Florida Keys vlogs. We have been in the Florida Keys for the last few videos. The first one was Islamorada to Key West. Then we showed you a couple of days in Key West. So today's video is going to be leaving Key West, which is always really sad, but we did stay in Duck Key for a couple of days before heading out. So Duck Key, if you're not familiar, is in between Marathon and Islamorada. Leaving Key West, our first stop was Baby's Coffee. Baby's Coffee is about 20 minutes outside of Key West, so it's a little bit out of the way, but locals still go there to get their coffee, which is a really big deal. 20 minutes might not sound like much to those of us who just like hop in our car and go, but people who live in Key West tend to not really like to leave that little island of Key West, so it's truly a testament to how good Baby's Coffee is. They actually did start in Key West and they were so successful that they had to expand, so that's why they moved and are located outside of Key West now. This is Mitchell's favorite spot to get coffee. I didn't get coffee here on this day because I wanted to stop at this new to us place in Cudjoe Key, which obviously we will show you as well.
So Baby's Coffee, their logo is this like eyeball with eyelashes, and so one of the workers in there said that the eye is like a logo that the previous owner came up with and wouldn't tell anybody about it, like wouldn't say why or where the eyes came from, or so it's like kind of open to everyone else's interpretation. So some people view it as like this like all-seeing eye, some people see it as like the caffeine. Once you get coffee in you, your eyes open up. And another guy there who I think was the new owner, I'm not 100% sure, but he was like kind of going around mingling with everybody. He said that the lady was like an artist that owned it. The previous owner was like an artist out of New York, and she was like asleep one night and had this like vision dream of like that she needs this like eye-opening thing where she just had this eye, and the eye was telling her to open up like a coffee shop. So she drew it and like dreamed this whole thing and came down here and started it. So kind of fun little lure, to a coffee shop.
That's fun.
Yeah.
But we're in Cudjoe Key at Morning Joint. It's a coffee shop that we've never been to. So Mitch got Baby's Coffee and I wanted to try this spot. So this is where we stopped for me. They have this really cute outdoor area, which I'll give you a better view of. But it's probably the cutest coffee shop from the trip. I don't know if you can see it, there's like coconut in it. It's espresso with coconut water, and then it has like little chunks of coconut. So very unique. Like I mentioned, we stayed in Duck Key. Duck Key, there's not much on it. It's really residential, and then what it's most known for is the resort. If you're staying at the resort, obviously that's a destination in itself. It has multiple restaurants. It has like a tiki bar and some like grab and go kind of simple food type of places, as well as like a nicer sit down restaurant that you would want reservations for. It also has a couple of pools and it's located on the water. We stayed at an Airbnb while we were there. There's actually a ton of Airbnbs in Duck Key. There's this like humongous area / row of townhouses, and that's where we stayed. They were really nice. They looked over the water, so we had an amazing sunset our last night there. We saw a manatee as well, which I'll show you. So it was gorgeous. The only downside is that the walls were extremely thin, and I think that's fine if you don't mind noise, because like some people don't mind noise. And it's also fine if you have good neighbors, but that's just always a risk. I'll put the link to the Airbnb in the comments. We stayed in the one that we stayed in because it was dog friendly, but like I said, there's like tons of townhouses available. So tons of availability in Duck Key if you're looking to stay there. There's pros and cons of staying in Duck Key. There's less to do, but it is very convenient to both Islamorada and Marathon. So if you want to like stay there and base yourself out of there, it's a really easy day trip to either one of those places. I would stay there again, but we really prefer to stay in one of the more main keys like Islamorada, Marathon, Key West, Key Largo. By the time I booked this, there was hardly any availability throughout the entire stretch of the Keys that allowed us to have a dog for an affordable rate. So that is why we stayed here. I will say it was very clean. It was very nice. It was perfect. But the host was so, so nice. I think it was the nicest Airbnb host I've ever had. So great place to stay. I'll link it in the comments. The day that we drove from Key West to Duck Key, we didn't really do much. You might remember if you saw our last video that when we left Key West, there was like a bunch of rain that night. It actually continued into the day that we left Key West and got to Duck Key. And that was fine because we were pretty tired anyways, and we just enjoyed relaxing, to be honest. The next morning we went to Sunset Grill, and I love this place. It was our first time here, but it's been on my list for a very long time. All of the seating, like for the restaurant, is kind of like open air under this ginormous tiki. So if it's raining, you're totally fine because it's humongous. So don't worry about that. And then there's also a view of not only the water, but the 7 Mile Bridge. And if that's not cool enough, they also have a pool that also looks over the water and the 7 Mile Bridge. By the pool, there is even a tiki bar, so you can grab a drink and chill by the pool, get in the pool, whatever. Your kids can come play in the pool, burn some energy while you watch the sunset, whatever. This place was really cool. And I feel like this is one of those places that you could go to just for the views, and it doesn't really matter how good the food is because you're there for the views, but it was good food as well. On our way home, we grabbed coffee, maybe a little bit backwards, I don't know, but we stopped at a newer coffee shop that we had never been to. It's like opened within the last year or so. It's called Georgie's Coffee. It's right in Marathon. It was really good, and they had pumpkin spice. So I was so happy. I drink pumpkin spice year round. So I always appreciate when coffee shops have it year round. But they had a lot of other flavors too, if you're not into pumpkin spice like me. They also have some food options, so you can stop there for breakfast, whatever you want. It's nice to get a new coffee shop in Marathon. We went back to the house, the kids took a nap. While they were napping, Mitchell spotted a manatee. If you've ever heard me talk about manatees, then you know I say, unless you're like on top of them. Now, I'm not talking about being irresponsible and like intentionally driving your paddling your kayak above them or like swimming right in their space, right? But like if you're above them, like they swim past you while you're paddling, or you're like on a boardwalk where you can look down on them, then they're amazing. But otherwise they can kind of be anticlimactic. And here is what I mean. You can see the manatee, but it's hard to really see it. It's like, you know, it's there, but like, unless you're on top of it, it's just a little, like I said, anticlimactic. But either way, it was really cool to see this guy right in our backyard. I couldn't believe it. We live by the water and I almost never see manatees, so I don't know, this was really cool. When the kids woke up, we decided to take them to the Dolphin Research Center. It's in Marathon. I was really on the fence about taking them because by the time their nap was over, we would only be able to be there for about an hour. And the prices to get in are not necessarily cheap. It's not a cheap event to go to, event, place, whatever. But 1 hour for us ended up being perfect. We caught the last show of the day, and this place just isn't very big. You can pay extra to swim with dolphins. Otherwise, just kind of looking at the dolphins is pretty quick. It doesn't take very long. Definitely try to plan around a show if you're going to be there. But yeah, it's pretty small. It was cool. Our toddler's favorite part of the whole place was the splash pad, and this was literally a highlight of our whole trip. Like, just watching him play on the splash pad was my favorite. And I know that you probably wouldn't spend like the admission price to this dolphin place just to see the splash pad. You know, like there's free ones all over. But it was really fun. And I think that that's something that's so cool about vacation is that you can do all this planning and you can have an itinerary. And I think that's great. Like, you want to know what there is to do to take advantage of being there, right? But then sometimes the absolute best memories come from something that you never could have planned and never could have expected. So it was worth the price of admission for us. This was just so much fun. So yeah, they have a really nice splash pad. And we stayed the hour and we were pretty much ready to leave when they closed. So that's about how much time we spent there. Obviously, I think if they were a little bit older, maybe we would have spent a little bit longer, but like I said, it's just not a huge place.
The chairs are on the table, the floor has been swept. It's closing time and I'm a little tired. It's a long time since I've slept. I'm moving forward, I'm ready to move on, heading for a brand new start at the break of dawn. Here I come, you better watch out, you better beware, the rumor is out, nothing can stop me, I'm going for gold, I'm out of the dark, I'm out of the cold. Here I come, you better watch out, you better beware, the rumor is out, nothing can stop me, I'm going for gold, I'm out of the dark, I'm out of the cold. Tomorrow's getting closer, yesterday is gone, a destination nowhere, I travel on my own. Here I come, you better watch out, you better beware, the rumor is out, nothing can stop me, I'm going for gold, I'm out of the dark, I'm out of the cold. Here I come, you better watch out, you better beware, the rumor is out, nothing can stop me, I'm going for gold, I'm out of the dark, I'm out of the cold.
Our last stop of the trip was at Castaways for dinner. It's a restaurant also in Marathon, and this place has everything. They've been on diners, drive-ins, and dives. They were on that show for their lobster enchilada, so I got that and tried it. I'll tell you, I love lobster, I love enchiladas. I don't know if I love the two mixed. But either way, this restaurant was incredible. I also got sushi because I couldn't decide. Sushi was absolutely phenomenal. They have tons of fresh seafood. They have non-seafood options as well. So yeah, it was just a good experience. This place is not fine dining, but it is more expensive than maybe your average place, so keep that in mind. It was definitely our most expensive meal of the trip, but we also had beer. We also ordered a sushi roll on top of our like entree. We ordered an appetizer. Like, we wanted to try everything because this menu was incredible, and you're gonna probably want to try everything too. So anyway, I highly recommend it. It is decorated a little like old, so like it looks outdated, but I think that that adds to the charm. And they also have, it's really cool, they have like hundreds of beer taps all over the restaurant. So anyway, definitely check out Castaways. You're gonna love it. I loved it. It's great. All right, that's it. So you went with us to Islamorada, Marathon, Key West, a few places in between. We've really covered a lot in this vlog series, and I'm excited that you're here. I'm excited you made it this far. Thank you so much for watching. It truly means so much to us. Hopefully you're subscribed, and if you're not and you liked this, consider subscribing. We appreciate it. Bye.